My business degree cost me 100k and 4 years of my time, and yet I was earning nowhere near other entrepreneurs who were my age. I wasn't even earning as much as my classmates who got regular jobs until I discovered Alex Hormozi. It's a treasure trove of business advice that every entrepreneur should follow. So here's 7 lessons that taught me more than my 100k business degree. Lesson 1. Invest in your own education. I stopped looking for some miracle investment vehicle to get rich. Sure, things like the S&P 500 and real estate can make money in the long run, but it will not produce the results we are striving for. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with investing in those. It's good to play safe. After all, getting rich is just one piece of the puzzle. Staying rich is equally important. I realized that the only way to get the financial freedom I wanted is by increasing my ability to provide value to the marketplace. The bigger the problem I solve, the more I can charge my customers. So how to solve bigger problems? There's no easy way around gaining the knowledge and experience. You must be smart with your money, live below your means, and invest as much as possible in education that will increase your earning ability. Spend every month into polishing one skill. Invest in the SME instead of the S&P. Courses, coaching, mentorships, workshops, seminars. Just pick a business or skill and dive deep into it. Stop thinking of passive income when you don't even have active income. We've all thought of putting some money into a promising investment opportunity. Real estate looks pretty interesting. I'll put 5k into it and see what happens. I was overly optimistic and didn't see the full picture back then. Learning the process of finding deals, how to generate leads, how to negotiate, how to close deals. There's so many pieces to the puzzle. Don't expect that by dropping 2k into one course, you'll start closing multi-million dollar deals. One-on-one coaching in particular is a phenomenal way to quickly learn a new skill. Pay someone to walk you through the entire process to answer whatever questions you have. View it as one module in your entrepreneurial degree rather than some magical golden ticket to financial freedom. Avoid having unrealistic expectations that the one resource you've picked will make you rich. Or who should you buy learning materials from? Opt for people who provide the best free content and teach in a way that you can easily understand. That way, the chances of their paid content being worse than their free content is lower. Even if the style which they operate their business doesn't perfectly suit you, don't put your own spin into it until you can replicate them. I made the mistake of trying to do things my way, obsessing over originality, but the market doesn't give a damn about anyone. All it cares about is the value you can provide. I was going around in circles achieving nothing, being too stubborn to follow the course materials because I thought I could do better. Don't make the same mistake as I did. Focus on getting the first dollar. Replicate the method that's being taught to you first. Invest in your education. Be the best student and replicate before you put your own spin to it.
I'm going to be the number one student here.
Lesson 2. You will learn more by assuming that you're the dumbest person in the room. You can't learn if you're talking all the time. There's zero value added to you by blabbering on about how great you are, the grand tasks you're taking on, whatever accomplishments you have. All you're doing is feeling good about yourself and letting others know that you're not that great. Not talking is the first step in learning. Let's look at these 2 scenarios. Scenario 1. Be low profile. Others don't know who you are and you get to learn. Scenario 2. You blabber on, you learn nothing, others dislike you, and you stay at your current level. I used to make the mistake of choosing scenario 2, bragging about my insignificant achievements to people who were way ahead of me. I felt so embarrassed when I realized how stupid I was making myself look. By choosing scenario 1, at the very least, you learn 3 things. What type of person they are, where they're at with their career, and whether there's anything interesting worth following up on. We've all been conditioned by school to speak up more, to participate actively in discussions, and voice our opinions. But what we fail to realize is that we're learning nothing new. So change the way you interact with people. Monopolize the listening, let them do the talking. The first step in learning more is to speak less. Lesson 3. Stop trying to be happy. I was so obsessed over the idea that everyone must have a purpose for life, that the work we do must lead to some grand outcome. I wasted countless hours soul searching, reading self-help books, trying to discover my purpose. But in reality, I was just procrastinating from taking action. My circumstances didn't change at all. I was as miserable as before. I also made the mistake of relying solely on positive emotions and motivation. Think about it. Majority of our days are spent unhappy. If you can only get work done when you're in a positive mood with good vibes, you're not going to get angry anymore. If you don't start utilizing negative emotions and experiences as fuel, you'll be at a huge disadvantage. It's like racing against a bullet train with a bicycle. The top Olympic medalists don't love winning. They hate losing. We've all heard of the crazy Kobe stories, how he embraced and even created more suffering in order to pursue greater height. You think harnessing positive vibes and happy emotions got him to where he is? Of course not. He harnessed pain. It's perfectly fine to be in pain, to not have a grand purpose for life. What's not okay is to procrastinate taking action, not doing anything to improve yourself. I was jumping from opportunity to opportunity, trying to find what truly lit my fire. But all I did was just waste my life away. Stop thinking that you're poor because you don't have a purpose. You're poor because you are not doing the activities that will increase your earning ability. You can fill these activities with whatever you like. It doesn't have to be positive emotions. So stop believing in the lie that we've all been fed by popular media. Your motivation can be as selfish as to just stop being poor. Being a successful entrepreneur doesn't mean that you do the things that you love. There's plenty of things that you hate, which you just have to get done. You just don't hate it more than the alternative. You'd rather study boring stuff in school than to fail and be jobless. You'd rather eat the leftovers in the fridge than to be hungry for the night. You should hate being poor more than you hate doing the boring, tedious work that comes with building a business. As long as the pain of moving forward is less than the pain of moving back, you can use that difference as fuel to motivate yourself. Alex lives by the quote, I will not do my best, I will do what is required. Nobody cares about your best, they only care about the outcome. What you do to get the outcome doesn't matter. So stop obsessing over positive emotions or some grand purpose. Instead, obsess over taking action. Lesson 4. Extraordinary accomplishments come from doing ordinary things for extraordinary periods of time. Pick one thing. Do it for an extraordinary amount of time, you'll get good at it. The thing that makes the action extraordinary is the commitment to it, not the action itself. Having one amazing chest workout isn't going to give you your dream physique. Working out consistently for 10 years will give you your dream physique. You need to have the commitment to doing the boring work over and over and over again. Even if you feel that there's new and exciting opportunities popping up everywhere, you must be committed to doing the ordinary things for extraordinary periods of time. This was the simplest lesson for me to understand, yet the hardest to implement. There's just no easy way around building up the commitment to doing the boring work. My best advice would be to change your identity. You must identify yourself as a person who has the commitment to doing the boring work. Stop thinking in terms of streaks. A streak suggests that you inevitably break it. A truly committed person doesn't think that way. It should require minimal extra effort, and even if he misses a day, he simply gets right back to it the next day. So you must change your identity and start living by the quote. The thing that makes the action extraordinary is the commitment to it, not the action itself.
Lesson 5. Get more out of reading one great book 5 times than reading 5 mediocre books. I used to make the mistake of humble bragging about reading a book a week. I felt like I was 10 times more productive than before, that I was acquiring so much knowledge. But how much has my life improved after reading so many books? Not at all. So what should you do to not repeat my mistake? Read one quality book 5 to 6 times until you can teach it to someone else. Until you fully understand the lesson from the book, you will not be able to benefit from it. You don't read a coding book and suddenly start the new Google. Reread the book, apply its lessons over and over again. Test what works and what doesn't. That's true knowledge. You don't expect to become a productivity guru after reading Atomic Habits once. Speed reading a book a week isn't going to get you anywhere. Instead, prioritize reading quality books 5 to 6 times until you can teach it to someone else. Lesson 6. You don't need an elaborate morning routine to get rich. We've all seen the fancy, aesthetic morning routines of our favorite influencers and business gurus. But they are nothing more than a crutch. If all it took was waking up early, meditating, cleaning your workspace in order to get rich, you wouldn't even need to be watching this video right now. I used to obsess over having the perfect morning routine, but all I really did was make it a crutch that I helplessly relied on. The moment my intricate little ritual got thrown off, I got rattled. I believed that my day didn't start right, that I was not on the ball. But thanks to Alex, I realized that productivity is doing more of the things that matter, getting more work done for the business. It's not your journal entry, or your cup of coffee, or your meditation routine. All you're really doing is getting better at not doing the important work. It feels good to have a morning routine, to get the feeling that you've started the day right. But you've just become dependent on a routine. You can no longer function properly once even a tiny aspect of the routine gets disturbed. The best morning routine would be get out of bed and immediately start working. Minimal time wasted. You're moving the needle the moment you're awake. Lesson 7.
A lot of people, I would say, mistakenly think that the number one resource is time. Everyone's like, time is money, time is money, time is money. And I would argue that that's not necessarily true.
We've all been taught since young that time is the most important resource. But these days, with the rise of social media, where everything is designed to be addictive,
I would argue that attention is money.
you can have all the time in the world, but if you're addicted to doom scrolling on TikTok, you'll never get anything done. Just think of all the time you've wasted on social media, jumping from app to app with no idea what you're looking for, just hoping for the next hit of dopamine. You need to protect your attention. Without it, you'll never be operating at 100% capacity. What I learned from Alex got me from 0 to 1, but will not get me from 1 to 2. In order to keep growing your business, you need to keep growing as a business owner, leveling up your own skills and those of your employees. In order to grow beyond your current limit, you need to do less, not more.
Because you do have a finite amount of attention. And so what happens is you have to decrease all of the other things in your life that drain attention. Because you can have as much time as you want, but if you're not there, you're not potent, you're not able, then you can't get anything done with that time that you're supposedly allocating.
Simply doing more isn't going to get you to the next level. Doing the work that matters will. This only becomes more and more difficult as you climb higher in the entrepreneur ladder, because the level of opportunities that you have to reject will get bigger and bigger. All entrepreneurs have an inclination to do more, to outwork others. It's what got us from 0 to 1, but it's not that simple. If all it took was doing more work, why aren't construction workers rich? Think of your attention as a finite amount of marbles. Every little unresolved problem in your life will take up these marbles. That argument with your mom last night, unpaid bills, toxic relationships. In order to get your attention back, you need to resolve these open loops, to focus and beat into submission the business problem you have right now. You simply cannot afford to waste it on petty things that have no benefit to your life. It's like trying to solve a coding problem. You bang your head on the wall repeatedly for hours, and it feels like it's impossible to solve, so you give in to exhaustion and sleep. You wake up the next day feeling refreshed and revisit the problem, and all of a sudden, the solution seems clear as day. Problems that you perceive as difficult really becomes easy once you've gotten more attention back. Attention gives you clarity to evaluate your situation for what it really is. Focus on what truly matters, what drives the needle in growing your business. I'm not saying ignore your marriage or family. I'm saying protect your attention from those that do not matter. If an opportunity or approach for business doesn't grow your numbers, you must have the discipline to ignore it. It's incredibly hard. We've all been taught to never miss out on opportunities. At least you gain experience even if it fails. But once your business is at a level where you're earning 1 to 3 million a year, you must be ruthless with your attention. You have to do things that do not align with your character traits, and that's perfectly normal. In order to reach new levels, you have to change your character traits to suit the new requirements. Protect your attention. Limit the amount of people that have direct access to your phone. Time is not the most important resource. Attention is. These are the 7 lessons from Alex Hormozi that have taught me more than my 100k business degree. If you are interested in learning more, do visit his channel for a more in-depth explanation for each of the lessons. If you enjoyed the video, do subscribe and leave a like.